assignment number 1. Assignment number 1 was introducing a classmate. Now we're going to be working on assignment number 2. For assignment number 2, you're going to be writing about a picture, kind of like what we did for the journal today. But I thought it would be more interesting if you actually wrote like you were writing for a newspaper. So the assignment number 2 that you're going to be working on is write a newspaper article with a picture, a caption, and a headline. But don't worry, you have 2 weeks to work on this. We're just going to get started on it today. What I'd like you to do first is, I want you to look at newspapers. These are the Valley Vanguard. This is the SVSU newspaper. It's written by students at SVSU, and it's about things at SVSU. So I want you to look at it and find out what you can find out and tell us about what's in a newspaper, what parts in it are in a newspaper, and how you put a newspaper together. So just take a minute and you can look at the newspaper and see what you can find there. So take the newspaper and look at the different parts that you can see. Okay, what do you see on the front page? What's on your front page? Okay. Well, yours might be different, that's fine.
Okay.
But what do you see? What's this? What's up here at the top?
The name, the newspaper.
Right, the name of the newspaper. What other information do you see up there at the top?
The date.
The date.
School's name and the school's newspapers says from 1967.
Oh yes, you can see that it's the school newspaper since 1967. What did you say? Headlines. On the newspaper, in the newspaper, good word. We can see some headlines. When we're writing a paragraph, we usually call this the title. So what are some headlines in the newspaper that you see? Might be different than mine. That's okay. The headlines are the names of the stories. So I see a story that says, first-time freshman enrollment up from last year. That's one of the headlines for the story. What other headlines do you see? You got one? Good. President announces discusses policy changes after internal review. What does the headline tell you? It tells you what the whole story is going to be about. So we have a headline. That's kind of like the title. What else do you see? Okay, pictures. I like the newspaper because there are pictures.
Yes.
A lot of times when I'm looking at the newspaper, I look first at the picture. Anybody else look at the pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you can decide, is it interesting? What is under the picture?
University and
Under the picture, what do you have? Like
Article.
here I have,
The
right here,
caption.
caption. Under the picture you have, how many sentences? 1 or 2? Maybe 3 sentences? And they tell you about the picture. These are called the caption. So when you write your article for the assignment number 2, you're going to have a picture, you're going to have a headline, which is like the title. And then you're going to have a caption that tells about the picture. What else do you see in here? Does anybody see something like this? You see here?
Articles.
Yeah, I have this where the words are just a little bigger. Do you know what that is?
Articles.
And it's got this special
Something important?
something important.
Articles.
This is a quote. And we show a quote by putting it inside of quotation marks. And it shows us exactly what somebody said. So lots of times in newspapers we have quotes. Do newspapers in your country have quotes from people?
Yes.
Do you put them inside
Yes.
quotation marks? Okay, in English when we put something inside quotation marks like this, it shows exactly what somebody said, the words that they said. Alright? How about in the back? Anybody see something like this? Is this an article?
Also.
No, not an article. This is a
Advertisement. Advertisement. What does an advertisement do?
Give information about.
Why do they put it in? To tell you news? Does it tell you news?
Information.
This one wants you to buy something. We have advertisements for the store. Or this one is for a bank. And it's not news. It's something they want you to buy. What do we call this? This is the news part. What do we call it? Anybody know the word? This is the news part. What do you know what we call it? Article, yes. It's a news article. Good. Do you see other things in here? What else do you see in your newspaper? How about this?
Just fun?
What's this? Anybody know?
Cold.
What is it? This one that has the picture that somebody drew. It's supposed to be funny.
slap joke.
like a joke. Anybody know what the word is that we call it?
Science committee.
Comic. Yes. One of my favorite parts of the newspaper is the comics. Anybody else read the comics? Do you read them in English, Arabic, or another language? I like, yes, different comics.
I like in Spanish, we have Mafalda.
Okay.
Do you know Mafalda?
It sounds like Matilda,
Yeah, no, Mafalda.
Mafalda.
It's very,
Oh,
no?
no.
No, do you know Mafalda?
I know.
Yes.
Oh, you've seen that one? Okay, so you like Mafalda. Anybody else have a comic that they like? I like one called Zit. It's about parents and their son, who's a teenager, going to high school. And it has, when they draw him with really big feet. And some funny things like that. Okay, so we have pictures, we have advertisements, we have articles, we have comics. Anything else that you see that we have in a newspaper?
Something to rent, like apartment or...
Okay, good, something to rent. Or to buy. I don't see any in this newspaper, but I do know you're, or like a
Car for sale.
car for sale or a job. Does anybody know what those are called? Those are usually the little boxes. Anybody know what those are called? We call them classifieds. I hope I spelled it right. I'll have to check on the spelling. But classified for a job or for a car. Yeah, that's another good part of a newspaper. Any other parts of a newspaper that you can think of?
When some famous person will die or married.
Yeah. Well, this one doesn't have it, but social news. And we have a special name for when someone dies. This newspaper doesn't have it in it, but if we put a picture of the person and then we tell about their life and their children, we call it an obituary. Good. Very good. Now the parts that we're going to work on for this assignment, you're going to choose a picture to write about, because I think it's interesting to have a picture when you write. For your picture, you're going to write a caption, and then you're going to write an article about the picture, and your article is going to have a headline with a title for it. Advertisements, comics, obituary, these are extra. If you want to make it look like a real newspaper and you want to do these extra things, that would be fun. But what you need to work on for this is writing an article for a picture that you're going to choose. So that's what we're going to work on this week and next week.
For the next week,
This week and next week.
After writing, no.
We're going to work on writing it this week. Then when we go to computer lab on Thursday, you will type it up and give it to me. Then I will make some notes on it. I'll give it back to you on Monday. Then next week you will work on it again, and you will finish it next week on Thursday.